Hi again, everyone. I'm Ollie Matthews. This is Societal Narcissism. No contribution with this video. Nothing's come in yet, so I'm just going to jump in with this for the time being. But before I get into the subject matter of the video, please go to the description box and click on the Rumble link to this video. And I ask you, please watch the video over on Rumble as I'm monetized, and it will help with the success of the channel greatly. On to the subject matter. Can totally believe him this time, guys. We can totally believe him. You know, I was going to make my own video, try to put my thoughts, but I found two posts came across my X feed by Sean Davis, the co-founder of The Federalist. We follow each other on X, but he pretty much sums it up in these two posts, and I don't know where this video is going to go, so this might not actually be on YouTube. There might only be a Rumble version to this. So let's just get into it, shall we? A lot of people don't know this, but if you say nuclear weapons into a mirror 3 times, you can ignore every lesson of history. The corruption and incompetence of Western intel apparatus, the failure of Middle East military interventionism, Iraq, Afghanistan, Libya, Syria, Ukraine, the cost in lives and money of failed wars based on lies, and you magically won't have to deal with any of the consequences. I mean, sure, Western interventionism in Iran in the 1950s, or in Vietnam in the 1960s, or Iran again in the 1970s, or Iran again in the 1980s, but this time with drug cartels, or Iraq and Bosnia in the 90s, or Iraq and Afghanistan in the 2000s, or still Iraq and Afghanistan in the 2010s, plus Libya, the whole moronic Arab Spring thing, or Ukraine in the 2020s. Those were disastrous. That cost trillions of dollars and those were disasters that cost trillions of dollars and countless lives. And yes, our military intel industrial complex lied about Vietnam and killed Kennedy, ran a coup against Nixon and then killed another Kennedy, and tried to get MLK Jr. to kill himself, and ran drugs throughout the Americas to fund shenanigans in the Middle East, and funded bin Laden and the Taliban, and missed 9/11, and lied about Iraq WMD, and got an ambassador murdered in Benghazi, and turned Libya into a slave market run by terrorists, and created ISIS, and ran the Russian collusion hoax, and tried to overthrow Trump with the Ukraine hoax, and weaponized the bat virus that killed millions of people and lied about it, and used the virus they made to steal an election, and arrested Trump, and tried to bankrupt him, and tried to make him die in prison. And when that failed, denied him adequate security, leading him to being shot in the head. Yes, they said and did all those things. But you can trust them now, because if you just say nuclear weapons, all history goes away, and the war they're demanding will be totally awesome with no downsides. And this is my point exactly. All laid out, all the but you're supposed to believe them this time. This time they got it right. And most of these incidents were all at the behest of the same country, you know, what do you want to do? And then we get to this post. You want a quick history of Western meddling in Iran? In 1921, the Brits tapped Reza Khan, a soldier in Iran's imperial army, to engineer a coup against the dynasty that had run Iran since 1789. It took several years, but in 1925, the coup finally succeeded and Khan was made king or Shah of Iran. You know what's weird about that? So the choice over there is either you have kings and queens and princes and princesses or mullahs. How about we have neither? I find it most ironic that this past weekend they're having no kings celebrations all over the world. But yet the Brits and us were all about making people kings in other countries, weren't we? You could choke on the hypocrisy. Khan modernized the country, building a national railroad system that linked the Caspian Sea and the Persian Gulf. However, because oil-rich Iran was neutral in World War II, the Brits and Soviets invaded in 1941, believing the government was too cozy with the Axis. So everybody's Everybody's invading everybody back in the World War II. It wasn't just the Germans. We got sucked into a situation in Europe twice. Twice. And if we didn't get sucked into the first one, there never would have been the second one. They deposed Khan, whom the Brits had just installed 16 years earlier, and tapped his son. That's not going to cause an issue. Mohammad Reza Khan Pahlavi to replace him. That didn't last long either, after the popular Shia political leader Mohammad Mosaddegh was appointed prime minister and made good on his promise to nationalize the country's oil industry. The Brits teamed up with the U.S. CIA and overthrew Mosaddegh and the country's democratically elected parliament. Over what? Over oil. Again, oil. Although the U.S. initially opposed Great Britain's heavy-handed approach to Iran, calling it rule or ruin policy, the takeover American foreign policy by the corrupt Dulles brothers under Eisenhower changed everything. And I would say it was before that, because Alger Hiss was a Soviet spy. So the communists, the Soviets, had already infiltrated the United States government prior to World War II. All we did in World War II is preserve communism. That's what we did. We preserved communism. Yeah, we ended up saving the Jews from a Holocaust, but we preserved communism. But we didn't know understand something. We didn't know we were saving the Jews from a Holocaust until we actually got into Germany. Because we were turning away, as late as in the 1940s, we were turning away ships full of Jews and sending them back to Europe to be captured. Oh yeah, look it up. Look it up. Oh wait, we don't have to, because I have it right here. A ship of Jewish refugees was refused landing in 1939. This was their fate. Ship of more than 900, and this wasn't the only ship. So there wasn't this outcry, this movement to go save the Jews and rescue the Jews in World War II. We wanted nothing to do with them either. And to act like we did is rewriting history. We found those concentration camps after we were in the country. And then we did what every winner of every war does, used it as propaganda for our own purposes. Oh, it was all about, no, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. The Brits teamed up with the U.S. CIA and overthrew Mosaddegh and the country's democratically elected parliament. Although the U.S. initially opposed Great Britain's heavy hand, calling it rule or ruling policy, the takeover American foreign policy by the corrupt Dulles brothers under Eisenhower changed everything. Mosaddegh went from Time magazine's Man of the Year in 1952 to being overthrown and imprisoned in 1953. He spent the rest of his life under house arrest before dying of cancer in 1967. His associates, many of whom have just been democratically elected, were tortured and executed. Gee, I can't figure out why the Iranians, and I'm not saying them, I don't support the mullahs, I want them gone as much as everyone else, but I can't understand why they would have hostility towards the West after all this. Can you? The CIA installed government, reversed Mossadegh's oil nationalization, as if it's any of our fucking business, and banned his National Front political party from the 1954 elections. Sound familiar? Does any of this sound familiar? The Shah's rule, backstopped by Western governments, became increasingly oppressive and violent. The populist anger from the CIA-orchestrated coup boiled for decades until exploding in 1979, resulting in the Iranian Revolution and the overthrow of the Shah, which led to Islamic theocracy, which has ruled the country and terrorized the region for nearly 50 years. So we caused the rise of the mullah. We caused it all. So why would even the average Iranian who doesn't support the mullahs, doesn't support, the women's rights being crushed over there, everyone else's rights being crushed over there, gays being hung over there. Why would you trust us? You wouldn't. We caused all of it. And then we're trying to act like we have some kind of moral authority over them. We don't. But I'm sure this time will be different. There will be no downsides or adverse consequences, and everything will turn out awesome. True neoconservatism has never been tried. If you're not following him on X, please do. He's the co-founder of the Federalist. I don't get along with the other co-founder. We have each other blocked because he's married to Meghan McCain. And he's a fat slob neocon, you know. So I don't deal with Ben Dominique, but, you know, Sean Davis, who's still running the Federalist, you know, give him a follow. Because this encapsulates the entire history of what's going on over there. I don't want any part of it. I know these are the same people that have been dragging us through the mud. And I'll even go back before the first time. I mean, this whole shit started, you know, bombing Libya under Reagan. And, you know, you got the USS Cole, you had Lebanon, you had Beirut, you had all this bullshit, even dating back to the 80s when we weren't even militarily involved. Yet we still had troops in these areas. Like, enough is enough is enough. The same people, the same media, the same three-letter agencies that told you, that did all of this, and everything that was written in the last post, the entire history, they're wrong. It's going to turn out different this time. This time, the Iranians really have nukes. This time, they mean it. This time, like, we have been going through this for longer than 30 years. This is dating back to the 80s, to like 1985. You really want to go back, probably about 40 years. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. You notice, though, but this is why I keep talking about it. Why I keep talking about it is because Trump listens. You see how fast Trump turned course on the whole immigration thing, not raiding the farms and the hotel workers. Nope. Forget what I said. He doesn't want to piss off his base, and he's trying to walk a line here. And I think what he's trying to do, he's trying to figure out whether or not he can walk this line or not, and he can't. He can. And I think Vance is trying to tell, because if you read Vance's post on X a little while ago, where he's like, he supports the president, but it's pretty apparent. He's like, I hear you. These people have been lying to us. I hear you. But he's basically saying, let's trust them. Let's trust them for now. Look, as long as we don't get involved, as long as we're not dropping bombs, as long as we're not putting directly in the conflict, we're not giving them bunker busters, let them deal with it. This is what they've been saying. Do not get sucked into another war, because these people are perpetual liars. They have been lying about everything for 50 years. But this time it'll be different. Trust us, guys. This time it'll be different. No, not having it. So I guess I'll post these on both platforms. All right, everybody. Like I said, still need sponsors. Could use some stories. Nothing's come in yet. You know, hopefully it's just a slow Tuesday. It is Tuesday, yeah. It's just a slow Tuesday. Things will pick up a little later. It's only 1:30 on the West Coast, so, you know, so hopefully, fingers crossed. But again, if you can't donate, make sure you're watching these videos over on Rumble, as it does help greatly. If you want your story read on the channel, you have a topic you'd like me to cover, something you'd like to expose, you'd like to set up a Skype, a phone call, have a private video made, you'd like to sponsor a video like this for someone who needs help and can't afford it, or just make a contribution to the channel in general to keep it supported, growing, and successful, because this channel survives 100% on contributions from all of you. Without you guys, all this goes away. So if you like what you see here and you want to see more videos like this, you know what to do with either the Cash App, Zelle, PayPal, and email links in the description box below. Also, please like and share this video wherever you can. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and be sure to click the subscription bell to be notified of all my video uploads. Also, be sure to subscribe to both channels on Rumble. Follow me on X and Telegram as well. I'm Ollie Matthews. This has been Societal Narcissism. Take care, everyone.